Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to Winding Down with Soul. This is our third session in a series of three. And I would like to get a confirmation first that you can see me and hear me. So let us know in the chat. First of all, say hi, tell us where you're joining from so we can create a sense of community together. And whether you are joining us live or watching the recording, then you're all welcome here. So I would love to see in the chat who's joining us. So let's see. And when you share, oh, I know why you cannot share because I didn't give you permission. I knew that I had to do one more thing. My fault totally. Now you can share. Okay, so if you're joining us live, now you can share. I was like, there was one more thing I was supposed to do and I didn't do it. So, okay, great. So now I can see and get a confirmation. That's always nice to begin with a confirmation. And tell us also in the chat where you're joining from. And some of you already post on the chat only for host and panelists to see. So I see your post, but if you click on everyone, then everyone can see your post and just let us know where you're joining from. So, like I said, this is a series of three, and this is session three, really the last session. And I want to just recap for a minute about sessions 1 and 2, because my intention with the whole series of Winding Down with Soul, a soulful space to end your day right, is to offer you different options to wind down from your day. And I want you to get excited and have some joy in the process of designing your own evening ritual. And it doesn't have to be the same ritual every night. But if you see the value, and I'm curious actually to ask you, and maybe you can share it in the chat, if you have been joining me for the previous sessions as well, what part of the series are you already integrating with your life, with your evening routine? I'm curious to hear that, so let us know in the chat. And just a quick recap. And again, you can always go back to the recordings of Winding Down with Soul session 1 and session 2. In session 1, our focus was clearing the energy of the day. So we built a ritual of releasing the energetic heaviness. First of all, we explored a few ways like sound and scent, movement, and guided visualization. We practice a gentle aura clearing, clearing the energy field actually in 3 different ways. And then we reflected a little bit in the journal, and we learned a routine of clearing the energy that starts with what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. And it has like a 3-step into this routine of clearing your energy field. And then we also did some intentional movement with music, bring this clearing ritual into the movement with music to create a whole somatic experience for the body. And we closed the session with some solitude, listening to a poem that I read on letting go. That was session 1. And then on session 2, our focus was tuning into the inner wisdom. So it was a completely different experience, right? To show that sometimes as you wind down from your day, maybe you prefer the movement with music. Maybe you prefer to sit quietly and read a poem, where you prefer to clear your energy. Or maybe you prefer to tune into your inner wisdom, like we did in session 2, and that was really a more a longer guided visualization to connect with the soul. This guided visualization is also available in my book, Chapter 3, and you can also listen to it on the Resource Center. And this guided visualization created or started the process of created with your soul. We also had in session 2 the invocation, the soul invocation, really to connect with the soul. And we journaled in different ways. We discussed different ways to journal. One of the practices that I shared with you and we practiced was to journal first about our day as if our soul is talking to us, but then also to view ourselves from the outside as if we are somebody else, and to use a journal prompt of um, dear soul, what wisdom do you have for her, and speaking about her. And I got some really good feedback during the week from some of my personal clients that were here and really liked the practice of talking about her. So yeah, and it looks in the chat that other people also um, enjoyed talking about her because it gives you some perspective. And um, and I want to bring back the question of like, why do we want to wind down? Just to remind ourselves, and not only because we want to get ready to sleep, and not only because we want to transition to have a switching gear or a transition between our day and our evening and night, but it's also about honoring everything that we've carried, that we are felt, and we're done. And this third session, we are focusing on self-compassion. And I have to tell you that this past week, almost every day during my private sessions, I had at least one, if not more, women that we really focused on self-compassion. It feels like it's so much easier for us to offer compassion to somebody else, but it's so much harder for us to offer compassion to ourselves. So does it make sense? Let me know. I'm curious to hear about that. Why is it so hard for us to give compassion to ourselves? So tonight, we are releasing um, whatever we carry from the day through self compassion. And I'll take you through a process that you can also do by yourself later. I do want to mention that I created a guide that I wrote down the practices that we covered in all 3 sessions, and I'll talk about it at the end and provide you with a way to receive this written guide. But as we start today, I wanted to maybe invite you to open yourself to this next perspective. And the perspective is that inside ourselves, we have a whole world. We have a world of our inner child, but our inner child is not actually like one part of ourselves. It has different layers and different parts inside us. And that's inspired by the IFS, internal family system. So if we are when we are doing good parenting, then we get to decide how much attention, how much love, how much compassion we give to each one of the parts. What happens many times is that the more sensitive parts, the more wounded parts of our inner child, of our inner world, are not always getting the attention that we need. Why? Why are we not giving naturally love and attention to those wounded parts and to the more sensitive parts? Do you have any idea? Let me know in the chat. Yes, exactly. I see in the chat, hiding them, fear, right? We have been programmed to avoid connecting with pain, with difficult emotions, with challenging emotions. We'll do whatever we can to avoid it. So we try to push them down. While what they really need is a connection with us, compassion, recognition. So we're going to do something that may seem counterintuitive. Instead of pushing away those parts or suppressing them, we're actually going to make space for them tonight. We're going to give them the compassion that they need. And that's a more maybe tangible way to give ourselves some compassion, self-compassion. It's easier to do it when we give it to our internal parts rather than to ourselves. So let me know if it makes sense for you. So it is this process of connecting within, connect with those parts within, and accepting them as they are. Because when you look back at your day, even before I take you through a guided visualization, when you just think now with your mind about some emotions that you may be carrying from the day, let's say that is hidden inside you, and let's say that in a minute you're going to connect with those emotions. What emotions do you think you're carrying from the day to day? And you can write it in your journal, you can reflect for a minute. What do you carry from your day? Maybe there was a person that there was a tension between you and you carry some resentment. Maybe there was an incident at the grocery store and then you carry with you some frustration. Maybe at work you had a difficult conversation and you're hurt. Maybe you carry from the day some anger, or maybe you carry from the day some exhaustion even. What do you carry from the day today, whether you're here live or when you watch the recording? So I see in the chat disappointment with my granddaughter. So then the wounded part will be the disappointed part. I see stress. Again, some of you are typing just for host and panelists to see. If you don't mind, type it for everybody to see. I see fear. Somebody is carrying fear from the day. I see resentment. Somebody, again, private message to me, is carrying resentment from the day. Somebody is writing anger with unreasonable expectations. So the unreasonable expectations will be more the thinking or the beliefs, but the anger will be really the emotion. Fear about my sick cat, feelings of defeat, feel like give up power, judgment self, or fear of it. Yes, that's a good question. Frustration. Yes, absolutely, frustration as well. So, and that's even when we think with our mind, right? Now we're going to turn inward and connect with some of those parts, and let's see what we find out. So I invite you to shift now to a more experiential place, to a place of connecting with your breath. And I invite you right now to just get comfortable and close your eyes. And I will probably play some music. I'll try to make it soft so you can hear me speak. And I'm going to play the music now. And we'll get started. So first you're focusing on your breath, just allowing your breath to be your guide for now. Gently following the inhale and the exhale and looking for the pause in between. And shift your awareness from anything that is going on outside you to your internal world. And allow your breath to be your anchor as you create this intentional shift inwardly. And like we did before, we're going to start with some words of invocation for our soul, just to truly connect with our soul. I'm going to give you just another minute to connect with your breath before I ask you to repeat the words that you're going to hear from me as a way to connect with your soul. Just giving you a minute to catch your breath. To visualize some light expanding within, inside your body. Now you can repeat after me as I say those words. This is what you say to your soul. I honor your light, dear soul. I trust your wisdom, always here, even when I forget. I'm listening. Tell me what you want me to know. It is safe now for me to feel, to listen, to receive. I hear you in the quiet, in the stillness, in the truth. I welcome your guidance with an open heart. And now start observing your internal world. You may be seeing some wounded parts, some sensitive parts there. And you may be seeing some healthier, stronger parts there. And even if you don't see anything and you just think about what I say, it's perfectly okay. It's going to work. Even if you think about it. And see if you can connect with some wounded parts that are a little triggered today. Ask your soul to show you, to guide you to see. What do you carry from the day that needs to be cleared? Ask, who inside me needs my attention right now? Maybe you sense a part of you that's tired, overwhelmed. Maybe there is a part of you who holds on to somebody else's energy. Maybe you carry some resentment from the day, or frustration, or anger, or hurt. Just allow any part that needs some attention to be present, to show up. And as you breathe, see if there is one of these internal parts that is more present. If you cannot see, that's okay. Just stay present in the experience. You can make it up. You can think about it. It's okay. So maybe there is one part that is more present right now. Ask this part, this internal part, this layer of your inner child, What are you feeling? What do you need? Wait and listen now. Part of you may speak through a feeling, a sensation, or a whisper. And if you sense an emotion or a sensation, see if you can name it. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's stress. Maybe it's overwhelm. Maybe it's disappointment. Maybe it's sadness. One part, and just name it. And repeat my words here as you offer this part compassion and say, it's okay you feel this way. I'm here with you. You're welcome here. I understand. It's perfectly okay that you're here. What other loving words do you want to offer to this part who may be triggered or sensitive? You can repeat my words and say to this part a little bit more. I'm sorry you had to carry that today. Please forgive me for not noticing sooner. Thank you for speaking to me now. I love you. I'm here. You are safe with me. Now place your hand, one hand or two hands on your heart. And just be with your heart. I'm going to get quiet for a few seconds. And I invite you to also notice, how do you feel towards this part right now? And how do you feel towards the experience? Because, for example, if you were not able to see anything, how can you be present with your frustration or disappointment right now and give it compassion and say to yourself, it's okay. I understand. Those simple words, it's okay. I understand. And just be with it for a minute. Now, as we wrap up the practice, I'll say those words, the four sentences, one more time. I'm sorry you had to carry that today. Please forgive me for not noticing it sooner. Thank you for speaking to me now. I love you. I'm here. You are safe with me. And I invite you to come back to the present moment, to open your eyes gently, to take a minute to notice how you feel. And again, how do you feel towards the experience? And what have you noticed about this practice of self-compassion? Share it in the chat if you feel guided. If you prefer to stay more quiet with yourself, that's okay as well. And I wanted to just say that you don't have to do the exact practice that I led right now. The idea is that you sit with yourself, connect with your feelings. It's just a tangible way to do it when you look into internal parts. And this technique is something that I often use in my private sessions. My clients know it very well. But if you are new to it, and it might be maybe very different than what you used to do, then really have compassion to yourself. You know, that practice may take a practice to connect with, to connect with. And I read in the chat so much compassion, so much patience and love. Feel relief and release healing. I feel good that I can honor and do something about my feelings. Yes, and I invite you to think between all the different practices that we covered, what can be a routine that you design for yourself, or maybe two or three routines, because I love to use the words negotiable and non-negotiable when it comes to building a routine, whether it's a morning routine or evening routine, like we're doing the winding down. If we can create a habit that is non-negotiable, that every evening we wind down in a different way, and maybe it takes a different length of time. Maybe one day you have more time, so then you create an evening routine of 30 minutes that evening. But then maybe another day you only have 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and you choose one piece from everything that we practice. Maybe it's sitting with your heart. Maybe it's doing intentional movement. Maybe it's writing in your journal for 5 minutes. It's better than none. So be careful not to turn this into a perfectionist thing when you'll say, from now on, every evening, 1 hour, I'm going to wind down. And have it as a non-negotiable intention to do something every evening to wind down, but to wind down what you do and how long it takes, that can be negotiable. And I keep reading from the chat. I'm here for you is very strong and not as subjective as I love you is to me. You know, and that's a good point, because I love you also is overused. So maybe to say I'm here for you and could be better. And sometimes we'll get in touch with our pain, with our woundedness, and there will be other times that it will just be more natural to connect with the stronger part of ourselves. Now, compassion is one of the stronger parts, and we intentionally connected with those parts, but there are many, many other parts that we can connect with. And one of my favorite things to do when I take women privately through this experience in the middle of our sessions is to discover what specific parts are present for them. And some of the parts are, let's say, universal, and some of the parts are really different for different people. And one of my favorite things to do also is in my evening ritual is sometimes to play a song that is very soft and gentle and tender, and just sit and listen to the song. When is the last time that you played a song that connected with your heart and you simply listened to the song? That's simple. And a favorite song that I often listen to is The Rose. If you're familiar with the song, that is sang by Bette Midler. And I wrote down actually the name of the songwriter. Her name is Amanda McBroom, and I'll include the link to the song so you can listen to it yourself. But it's a very gentle reflection of love, not just romantic love, but love as a force of life. And it speaks to the vulnerable and courage that it takes to fully love or to love fully. And one of the things that the song, the words say is that how love is not loud or showy, but something quiet, deep, like a seed beneath the snow, waiting for spring. So just playing the song or any other song that makes your heart tender and just sitting with it and being present with it. So I promised to just mention the PDF that I created for you. I wonder, so yes, this is the printed version. It has a few pages, 15 pages, I believe, but I want to just maybe show you very quickly, and then I'll post the link. And so the PDF has just a summary. Sorry about that. You should see it on the screen. Summary of the, actually, let me make it smaller a little bit. Here you go. A summary of the 3 rituals and session 1 and session 2, and then tonight session. And what I want to show you is that towards the end of the guide, I also included the soul invocation words that we used more than once. I used it today. And in session 3, I also included the 4 lines that I used today for I'm sorry you had to carry that day and all that. So anyway, that guide is available for you. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And the guide is available for you for only $7, a very symbolic price. And for those of you who join us live, I'm going to share the link in the chat. And for those of you who watch the recording, then look on the page and you'll find below the link to the $7 guide that includes the information for all 3 sessions. And I am wondering if there are any questions that come up now. Please write them now in the chat. If there are any questions that are coming up now about anything related to winding down and winding down with soul and anything we covered. And for those of you who are here live and you ask in the chat if you already paid for the guide, yes, you will receive an email tomorrow morning with your guide. And if you're watching the recording, then as soon as you purchase the guide, then you'll get it. I just waited until all 3 sessions will be over, but now it's ready. Okay, so any questions about winding down with soul? And maybe to say one word about winding down with soul. What's the difference between, let's say, winding down without a soul and winding down with soul? I think that the soul, the connection with the soul, this pure essence of who we are, is more tender and softer. I think in life there's so many qualities that are more muscular, and we need those qualities. Like we need achievement, we need productivity, we need to-do lists, we need to get things done. But when we truly connect with our soul, then we shift into softness. We shift into a more tender, a more gentle part of ourselves. And we maybe step away from being connected only with the thinking mind, with the intellect, and then we expand our connection to connect with, again, softer and more tender parts of ourselves. And that changes the whole experience. That allows us to have more compassion. Yes, and I see in the chat, yes, get out of my head and go to the self energy. So this softening in is possible when we bring soul into everything that we do, including our evening routine. Somebody writes in the chat, it's getting in the comments, or yes, in the chat, it's getting in touch with your true self, the essence. For me, it keeps me from ruminating in bed at night. Beautiful. And you can continue to dialogue with your soul, like we practice in session 1 or 2. We can continue to dialogue with your soul as you fall asleep, just to have a conversation with your soul. Yeah, so it looks like there are no other questions, and I would like to really thank all of you who are here live or watching the recording. Please spread the love and spread this softer connection with the soul. So if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe share the YouTube video with another person. And if you're watching it on the website, maybe send a link to this recording for a person that you think will be valuable for you, for them to wind down with soul and help spread soulfulness in the world. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching the recording, and see you next time.